I spent some days in the underworld, the shadow world, the world of darkness, and in a pretty dark, scary place. And I emerged to tell you about it. And this is my story of what happened while I was there and the realizations that I came out with. I'm Washayla Sananda. Thank you for joining me today. If you watch my videos, you might have seen last week's video where I talked about this vertigo experience and a recent love relationship that really brought me to this place of vertigo and then to this ultimate space of forgiveness. So during this entry into the new year and this vertigo experience, there's the vertigo, but then there is also this extreme fatigue. And so it took me about a week to really fully recover my energy. And there was a lot of time spent in darkness. And I mean that literally and figuratively, laying in bed in darkness and really doing a deep dive into the shadow world. And while I was doing that, I got to this point of confronting everything, challenging everything, fighting with everything, and like really sorting through, taking myself to those deepest levels of who am I? Why am I here? Why did I choose this experience? And then also there's this aspect of blame, thinking that, okay, somebody else, my ex-lover, is responsible for me being in this dark place at this moment in this shadow world. But then coming out of that and realizing, no, I'm the one. I'm the only one here. I created this experience for myself. I'm the one who chose that relationship for whatever experience it brought me, whatever soul growth it would bring me to this dark night of the soul, so that I could look at everything that I am and everything that I believe in and everything that I have ever thought and taken on and challenge it and fight with it and confront it. And then ultimately to choose again, who am I? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? Why do I believe what I believe in? And come back to who I am being. And this is the most transformational experience of alchemy when we're in this dark night of the soul. And what I experienced also was quite beautiful, a beautiful part of it. The goddess Persephone came to me. I did not know her before, but the goddess Persephone came to me, and I learned that she is the goddess of the underworld, and she was abducted by Hades, who was the king of the underworld. She was not of the underworld previously. She was of daughter of Zeus, of the heavens. She was abducted by Hades, who took her to the underworld and insisted that she be his queen because he was in love with her. And she decided to stay because she had such great compassion, because she looked around and saw that she was needed there and that she could do great good there. And she became a very powerful queen of the underworld who ruled with compassion and love and a generous, loving heart, and cares for everyone, even in that dark place, transforming that dark place into one of beauty. And that was the message in this experience for me, as I was sorting through everything that I believe and my, down to my guidance and my spiritual path and my choices, my heart, what I love. And I think this is a great thing to do. This is not something that's for the faint of heart. It's not easy. It is a huge challenge, but on the other side of it is just this beautiful freshness of knowing what I'm here for, who I am, what I believe in, and choosing that again, not because it's been told to me or because I have to, but because I know that it's right for me, because it's my choice. And so I want to share something with you. So you've probably seen this before. This is the Yin and Yang symbol. And the reason I'm showing this to you is so that I can demonstrate there is always dark in the light and there is always light in the dark. And when you look at this symbol, I think the thing that will really stand out is that there's not more of one than the other. And this is symbolic of our reality. This is symbolic of life on this planet. It is shadow and light, dark and light, and they are balanced and they are intertwined and they are interdependent and they work together and they fit together and they flow together beautifully. They were designed to be this way. This reality is designed to be this way. It is not designed to be light all the time or dark all the time. It's designed to be in balance. You can find things like this all over the internet, but this is one. The yang is the light side. The yin is the dark side. The yang, some of the descriptive words: positive, sun, light, heaven, active, fire, above, heat, generation, wake, and the yin side: negative, moon, dark, earth, passive, water, below, cold, growth, and sleep. And here's one that it has more information. It says the yang side is male energy, active, light, dominating, strong, movement, hot, expanding. The yin side, female energy, passive, intuitive, creative, dark, stillness, cold, contracting. So I wanted to share that with you in order to demonstrate the things on the dark side are not bad things. Feminine energy, creativity, intuition, stillness, none of these things are bad. We assign judgment to them as negative, to anything, but we assign this judgment to the darkness as being bad. And when you look at that symbol, it is perfectly balanced. The dark and the light, we are here to experience both. And by the way, I want to thank everyone who sent me messages and commented on my YouTube video about the vertigo and the forgiveness prayer. I got so many beautiful messages. It made me cry. I was really moved by all of the outpouring of love and support and the stories that you shared. So thank you. I really appreciate all of the messages that I got from that and just how much love and support there is out there. And I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. So where I'm going with this is that as quote unquote light workers, we can get really disconnected from our shadow side. And what happens is people will bypass the negativity in their lives, bypass when you have a difficult relationship, or when something happens, even with a friend, and you don't confront it. You'd rather walk away or cut that person out of your life rather than giving your best to try and mend or try and even have a confrontation in a loving way to discuss what happened. We don't confront. We don't look at what's upsetting us, what's bothering us. We get so absorbed in being all light and of the light that we forget that the darkness is just as important. The shadow work is so very important, because we don't get the light if we don't do the shadow work. We don't have balance then. And this can be the demise of the light workers. And it's so important to get this, because this is one of the things that happens over and over and over again when I have people that are struggling with something and they're light workers, or they're, the wounded healer. They haven't given themselves time to heal because they haven't given themselves the the permission to go into their own dark side, to look at it, to confront it, and to acknowledge it and accept it and honor it as part of who we are. That's what I love about Persephone coming to me. Persephone, and she embraced the dark side, the underworld. She embraced it and became queen of the underworld. Even after being abducted by Hades, he didn't stop and say, hey, would you like to date me or, consider marrying me? I'm in love with you. He abducted her. He took her from her mother, who she was so close to. He took her from the earth realm and brought her into the underworld against her will. And she forgave him and chose to love him anyway. That's a big lesson. And I'm not saying you should love people that are abusive to you. No, that's not what I mean. But to come to terms with, we are so quick to judge, and we are so quick to cut out people and things from our life if they're not of the highest light or serving the highest good, when sometimes what's needed is our compassion, because everybody and every circumstance that happens in our lives happens for a reason. And yeah, as we upgrade, people do fall out of our lives and new people come in and new challenges come in. And can you embrace that? And here's what happens when we deny our shadow, when we deny our darkness, and when we just constantly look the other way when something negative shows up. We start to deceive ourselves, and that weakens us. And it weakens us to the point where then when the darkness really does show up in a big and bad way, we get taken out by it. We have to be tenacious in our shadow work, in confronting our darkness. Don't pretend that you're perfect and that you're all light and that nothing bad is going on in your life. I think this is a big downfall of this time, this culture, because with all of the social media and the filters and the, anybody who looks anyway can look like a supermodel with the filters that are out there. And it makes people feel less than for being ourselves, for being our unfiltered selves. And that's not balanced. We get to be messy, and we get to be unfiltered, and we get to be raw, and we get to confront the negativity that exists within us and within other people. And if we don't, other people are going to show it to us. They are going to reflect it to us until we get it. And what we get to do then is go within and find out, where am I negative? Where am I rejecting myself? Where am I not honoring who I truly am? Where am I closed? Where's my heart closed down? And so this is the value of the shadow work. In my 6-month embodied ascension training course, we go deeply into shadow work, kind of straight from the beginning, because it's foundational to build everything else on. If you're building your ascension on a foundation of negativity and darkness and unresolved trauma, you're not going to get very far. Your tower is not going to go up. It's going to cave in. If you're building a tower on a dark hole, essentially on a cave, it will cave in. But when you clear out that negativity, that trauma, when you look at it and you face it and you confront it and you acknowledge it and then go into accepting it and even embracing it as part of who we are, it's the balance, it's the yin and the yang. It's not more light than dark in the yin and the yang in this reality. It's equal, it's balanced. And so we get to get comfortable with the shadow showing up. And the more comfortable we get with it, the less we judge it. And then, like Persephone, we can have compassion, such great compassion for it, that we fall in love with it and we become totally balanced and bring light to that darkness and know that it's not bad, and we don't need to judge it so much. We just need to acknowledge that it's part of this reality and part of the truth of who we are. Let's not pretend to be what we're not. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is completely unfiltered all the time. And we get to be more raw and real and honest and authentic with ourselves and others without defending. When was the last time you were able to take honest feedback from other people and not defend yourself and not take it as criticism or tearing you down? I ask for feedback in my life all the time. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it hurts, but it helps me grow. And it doesn't mean that I internalize negativity. It means that I look at, oh, wow, am I showing up that way for you? Then I better look at how I'm being in the world. What part of myself am I filtering and not being authentic in order to make other people happy? And generally, that's what it is. We filter our truth in order to show up as what we think other people want us to be. And then we're not being real because we're showing up as filtered in our way of being. So that filter on those filters, and you know what? I have fun with filters too. I'm not saying they're bad or wrong. I'm just saying, like, don't let the filter be your only way of being. Have fun with it, play with it sometimes, but show up raw and real too. Let the world see who you really are. And most importantly, you get to know who you really are by doing the shadow work. In integrating my shadow and going really deeply into the darkness, the underworld during that Vertigo experience, I was really able to get clear on my own inauthenticity, my own dishonesty, my own deceit, my own ugliness, my own like raw, vulnerable, unfiltered self, my anger, my rage, my all of that. It came up in me, right? It came up and it came out. My doubt, my fear, all of it came up and it came out. I purged it. I let it go. Like Persephone coming up out of the underworld and into the spring. She's also the goddess of spring and grains and growth and flowers, which is why I chose the flowers in the background. Peonies, my favorite flower. And she let her heart open. And I experienced that at the end of this journey, as I was emerging from that dark night of the soul. And I had transformed and alchemized and cleared so much of my shadow self. I did a voice recording and I wrote down what I spoke, and I'm going to share that with you now. I'll read it so that I share it exactly as I said it. This is exactly what I needed. The colors are all shifting and changing around me. Everything is becoming brighter and clearer. The energy is shifting. My body is changing. This is deliverance. I am delivered from the shadow. I feel uplifted. My heart feels open in a way that it hasn't in a very long time. It feels like emerging from a cocoon. It is new and fresh and timid and sweet like spring. I am grateful, empowered, renewed, and my strength is returning to greater levels than I have ever known. Embrace the challenges. They come with the gift of alchemy, of great transformation. I honor you. I invite you to go deep this week, to look inside, to confront your shadow, and to know yourself more, and to accept all parts of yourself. Accept who you are, not just the filtered version, the real version, all of you. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you following along. I absolutely love it when you give me your comments, send me your feedback, and of course, give me a like, a subscribe, and I will continue to be here week after week. So thank you for joining me. I love you. I cherish you. Namaste.